on a Sunday morning. Now, yes, I was going to go to church, so I did a Google. I walked to a church. I don't know, I forget the name, but it wasn't open till 10:30. There was another church. I think it wasn't open until 10. It seems to be 10:30 in Canberra that the services run in on a Sunday morning, which is typically not the case in other places. Usually it's around about 9:30 or 10 at the latest. And so for that reason, I didn't hang around till 10:30, and I travelled out to, where am I? Watson, I think it's Watson, and there's the Bold Archie Prize 2024, which I thought was quite interesting. I saw a flyer in the hostel. I'll just read it out. So it runs second of Feb to 17th of March. Get ready for Australia's leading satirical art extravaganza, the Bold Archie Prize. So they're taking off of course, the Archibald Prize. They're calling it Bold Archie Prize. Born in 1994 as a whimsical takeout, more serious competition, this prize throws open its canvas to artists of every stripe, inviting them to unleash their creativity in portrait paintings teeming with humour, dark satire, light comedy, or caricature. Known internationally as the only art competition in the world to be judged by a sulphur-created cockatoo named Maud. The satirical essence of this event captures the irrelevant larrikin spirit that defines the Australian ethos, resonating with individuals from all walks of life. Now entering its 28th year in 2024, the Bald Archie Prize beckons artists to carry forward the rich tradition of reveling in laughter while basking in the beauty of art. Now, it doesn't open till 11 on a Sunday, so it's 20 to 11, and I just happened to arrive a little bit earlier. So, and I'm just standing outside the centre now. So I'll be going at 11 o'clock. It's not that much. I think it's $8 general admission and $6 sort of concession seniors. And I had to catch a tram. I just got a tram. It was $9.60, unlimited tram ride, a transport, and I think it was a tram or light rail. So it wasn't very far from the city. But I just thought I think it could be quite interesting. It's sort of, when you see art, you don't want to see, classical art, or, I mean, art. There is a lot of art, and you want to see stuff which is kind of, has some sort of impact. And even when you go to art galleries, and typically probably the best art gallery is Mona, the Museum for Old and New Art in Bellerive, Hobart, set up by, of course, David Walsh, the pro punter, professional gambler, who's set up this art gallery. I've been there a couple of times, and it's pretty good. And that's what I find, when I'm sort of traveling, I typically go for more contemporary art rather than classical art. I don't know, seeing sort of sculptures, sculptures sculptures by the sea, at Bondi, from Bondi, on the walk from Bondi to Coogee, which is once a year, is pretty good, and it's free as well. So, and of course, the Baron's poem, the minuscule ant. In fact, I'll probably read I don't know, I'll probably read the minuscule ant out at some stage while I'm around the art centre. Whether I can even leave it there might be a possibility. Could I enter the poem as a piece of art in this prize? I don't know. I'll just have to find out what the criteria is. I don't know. Does it have to be I don't know. Maybe I can. Maybe I can enter a poem. That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? And whether I sort of make it into an art piece, put maybe a drawing or just a picture of an ant. Rock Ptarmigan, Ash Barty winning Wimbledon, or maybe a character. What is it? Character. It's a word I'm looking for. Character connoisseur or something. Caricature. So maybe a caricature of Ash Barty. Yeah, I mean, I do have Ashley Barty, in the poem, of course, because Algebrace is in Ashley Barty. So yeah, I just have to find out or maybe I get someone to do a painting or as an art piece of this poem, and just put the poem in the center or something, something like that. I don't know. I'll just have to. I'll just have to find out. Now, of course, yeah, Watson. Yeah. So why is this Watson? Now, Watson was I believe, the third Prime Minister of Australia. He was a Labor movement, typically into sort of more Labor unions back in very early 1900s. I think he only had 3-year term. I forget what his first name is, and that's why it's called Watson. Of course, they were celebrating, wasn't it, 100 years of Canberra. When did Parliament open? Was that 1915? So celebrating 2015 or something? I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, pretty recently. 100 years of Canberra, and of course all the prime ministers. So you'll probably find the prime ministers. Where was I when they had the sculptures of the prime ministers of Australia? I forget now. I was somewhere. And they had the prime ministers. Yeah. Also, I found interesting when I was in Wagga Wagga. No, sorry, not Wagga Wagga. Tamworth. Tamworth I went there for the country. They had the country music festival every year, but they had the country. They have country bands playing all year, and I went there to pretty much see Christy Cox, and they had the trio. They had Christy Cox, Ashley Dallas. The Ashley, it was not connected to Ash Barty at all. It just happened to be another Ashley called Ashley Dallas, and Andrew Swift. I thought that was great. Yeah, it was at a classical, or sort of a more historic country pub in Tamworth. And I made the trip to Tamworth, but I went to Armidale from Tamworth. I made a bit of a trip out of it, and but yeah, what I was going to say, yeah, they had something on Captain Cook. There's something about Captain Cook, and they made some sort of art piece out of it. There's a lot of kind of artwork around Tamworth because of the country music. They have like figures or portraits of various country music legends. I know Slim Dusty and the likes, and it's worth a trip. I don't know if you're a trip to Australia, or to Sydney, Tamworth. It's not very far. It's only, you can just catch a train direct from the central. 4 hours, maybe 4-hour train. And yes, ideally for the country festival, but it'd be pretty difficult getting accommodation. You'd have to sort of organise it pretty early. Okay, so it's sort of almost 10 to 11, so it's going to be open in 10 minutes, and yeah, so I was unable to go to church. Now, just getting out of the sun. Actually, it's going to be a bit sunny where I'm standing. But it's sort of like that when you travel. So yes, you sort of plan to go to church every Sunday, but it's not always feasible, because I know you got to find a church, and also depending on the timing, when is it going to be open? And in Canberra, they don't have their services till 10:30. So that's okay. I could potentially go next week. I'll be in Sydney next week, so Sydney's not a problem. I may go to Adventus. I had this spiritual encounter at Adventus when I was walking there, and again there was a dead bird. There was a dead bird with no body, only the feathers, which was the same dead bird which the Baron saw back in 2013 when I was staying at 22, a Villa 22 of 122 Culloden Road, Marsfield. It was in the village, and yes, there was that dead bird with no body, and that sort of happened after the outer body experience. When I made the connection that yoga is the most effective method to resolving conflict. So I was just sort of working in politics. Oh, yeah, no, I was doing a degree I was social sciences at the time, and was studying politics 101, and I just came up with that kind of connection. And within sort of days, probably even the day after, had this out of body experience while standing in the kitchen, um, where the soul left the body, and I saw a bird in the spiritual world, which I believe was Jehovah, as as an incarnation. So God could incarnate into any species, of animal. And there was this bird flying down from the opposite roof of the apartment, and so I was seeing Jehovah in the spiritual world. And within a couple of days after, there was this dead bird with no feathers. And when I spoke to my neighbour, yeah, she said that's just something out of the Bible, referring to some sort of a resurrection, because there was no body, just the feathers. And the same image was there when I went to Adventus back in, I don't know, several years ago. I've noted that down. And when I went to Adventus, the pastor was actually talking about the second coming, and how it actually faced Satan, and that was documented in Corinth. He was referring to Corinthians. And as I left, he actually said to me, "God bless," which typically pastors don't do. In fact, I generally get banned from churches, as you know, from Macquarie Baptist Church. I was banned from Macquarie Baptist Church, from basically telling them, well, I guess it was a whole range of things. Obviously, the meat was an issue. I was telling them to have a vegetarian diet. As per the Sixth Commandment, thou shalt not kill. In the original King James version, the very first edition which came out, it does actually say thou shalt not kill. You can verify that yourself. And of course all these other versions. I mean, there could be hundreds of versions of the Bible, and they just change it for their convenience. So they're basically been corrupted, which was pointed out by the Muslims. So yeah, the number one thing should be thou shalt not kill, vegetarian diet. And so I was just telling them all this, and even when I was at the Catholic Society, the Macquarie Catholic Society, they were saying to me, meat is good for you. I was telling them obviously to be vegetarian. No, I wasn't banned, but they didn't really like me. They thought I was becoming maybe a bit too involved. I was going to mass every day, and of course they wouldn't let me come on retreat. They were saying that I wasn't a student, and I was potentially too old to go on retreat. So that's okay. I didn't go on retreat, and I sort of left then anyway. I had to go to the US. But I'll be meeting up the Catholics. They're great people. The Catholic Society is very genuine, and I'll be going to Macquarie. It is O Week starting on Monday, and I'm arriving so tomorrow, and I'm leaving at Canberra tomorrow, and I'll probably arrive. I don't know, maybe at 11 or 12 o'clock. I'll be at O Week at Macquarie. So yeah, that was sort of that was sort of a long way around story about going to Adventus. So I'll probably go to Adventus next year. Yeah, so they celebrate on the Sabbath. This is what I like about Adventus. They celebrate on the Sabbath, which kind of makes sense because Jesus was Jewish. So yes, they celebrate on the Sabbath. They have their church service, and they're vegetarian. It's probably the only denomination that is both vegetarian. Out of all how many Christian denominations are there? I think I saw something in the order of about 30,000 now. That's how kind of, if you know what I mean. To have that many denominations in itself is problematic. But I think that they are the only denomination that is both vegetarian and celebrate on the Sabbath. And of course, they welcome everyone as well. I don't think they would ban anyone from their church. And also, they open discussion. So they had this thing called Raw Faith. I saw, just trying to get out of the sun, actually. It's getting quite hot. They had this thing called Raw Faith, and I went to Raw Faith a number of times, and you can say whatever you want. And they opened the discussion to saying what you want. So, if you want to debate whether Jesus was God, well, they actually open that discussion. which I thought is interesting because they don't do that in any other Christian denominations because I don't know, they're kind of running cults. They indoctrinate people with this kind of knowledge. I don't know where they get the knowledge from, and it's just not correct at the end of the day, as we see with the Sixth Commandment. Okay, I think I'll leave it there. I got to. It's about 5 to 11. So if you're in church, enjoy the church service. And yeah, I would encourage free speech, open discussion, and raise these sort of issues in church. I should say yes. In terms of the synagogues, yes, it's problematic now going to a synagogue, due to the fact that yes, you probably have to be Jewish. They're going to know why you want to go to a synagogue. They're going to ask a lot of personal questions. You may not be allowed in if you're not even Jewish. Also, the dress code, you can't just turn up in shorts and t-shirt. You may even need a formal suit at some Orthodox synagogues. So it's problematic. But if you're going to synagogues, that's great. So I certainly encourage all religions and going to all sort of services. Okay, that was the Baron Breaks, live from the Bald Archie Prize 2024 Watson